Hello everybody, Carl Iglesias here with the preferred agent team over at Keller Williams Realty Partners, and we titled this, Should You Buy a Fixer-Upper Home? Okay, and again, it depends. You could blame it on Chip and Joanna, Jonathan and Drew, or any other HGTV dream team. You know, fixer-uppers are getting their fair share of love on TV today, especially everybody's home. They're glued to the TV, but it's not as easy as they make it appear. And the question is it right for you? Okay, you know, buying a fixer-upper home is currently a popular investment in the housing market, especially since lower-priced houses, increase housing confidence in home buyers. On the one hand, you know, it is a great way to purchase a home below market value and sell it for more than you paid. You know, on the other hand, you know, there are things to look out for. You know, it often seems to be more work than people anticipate. And sometimes the final product, it doesn't end up being worth as much time, effort, and money as people put into it. You know, so is a fixer-upper home worth it? The answer depends, like I said, on a variety of factors and your current situation. You know, thankfully, you know, we have a list of pros and cons that we're going to go through, as well as some tips and recommendations if you're trying to decide if a fixer-upper home is the right decision for you. So we're going to start off with the pros, and I got a list of pros here that I'm going to rattle off to you. But you know, one of the pros are you have more creative leeway. You know, you can build, renovate, and design the house the way you want. The other is you can decide, what places in the home you want to spend more money on, i.e., better kitchens, better baths, better bedrooms, things like that. You have the opportunity to make the home, worth a great deal more than you paid. You can likely flip the home, for more money. Again, fixer-upper homes are typically about 8% below the market value. So you might pay less, in property taxes because they are, calculated based on the home's value, or the home sale price, I should say. Okay, so now we're going to go over some cons. And the cons with fixer-uppers, because there's always cons. All right, most fixer-upper homes are not move-in ready, renovations can get costly. You also, don't have an exact total of what everything will cost. Things do pop up, making the financial bottom line just uncertain, and trust me, things do pop up. Fixer-upper homes can be a risk. You never know when things are going to go wrong, so you have to anticipate, possible complications. You better have money aside. If you need to make structural changes, you'll need a building permit. You might need architect, which is around $1,000 according to HomeVisor. It can be $1,000 or more depending on how big of a job it is. It can take months or even longer to finish a fixer-upper. So, yes, fixer-uppers are great, but some of them are just disasters, just turn around and run. That's why we always tell everyone, do a home inspection. If you're interested in a fixer-upper home, you want to begin with a home inspection. The inspector will likely be able to determine whether the home is worth the investment or not, depending on the severity of the necessary, renovations. Note that if the necessary improvements in the house are structural, such as, the roof, structural walls, structural wall issues, it's likely not worth the investment. These type of renovations are complicated and extremely expensive. Again, you could open up a can of worms. Again, these types of renovations are complicated, extremely expensive. They are also not typically noticeable by potential buyers, so they fail to raise the value of your home enough to make up for the money you invested. However, if you have a written report from your home inspector listing the major, issues and the estimated repair costs, you might be able to get the seller to lower the cost of the house, to account for the added repairs that you'll have to do. So get some estimates of renovation costs. Deciding if a fixer-upper home is worth it is heavily influenced by the estimated cost of renovations. As stated before, home inspectors can often help you with this. Again, note all of the necessary renovations and how much they will cost by using a home inspector or a contractor. It's better to overquote than to underquote. I always say go over 15%, and sometimes that's even a little light. But then you want to subtract this from the home's projected market value, after repairs and renovations. You can estimate a home's market value by researching the neighboring homes' values. Finally, you need to deduct 5 to 10% or more for for possible complications and other possibilities. I typically say 15%, but if you're okay with doing 5 and 10%, that's fine. Determine if you need permits. Because that's going to be huge, especially now with the building departments are at a lag. I mean, everyone's down. Depending on your area, you might need permits to do certain renovations, and sometimes you won't. But if you build without obtaining the proper permits, you could have difficulty selling the house in the future. And we see this mistake done a lot. So make sure that you have the money to get the required permits before committing to a remodel, because again, we see that as well. Do-it-yourselfers, they don't get permits, and now we have a hard time. Okay, we have no COs on half of what they've done. So identifying the skills you have and what you can actually do yourself. Part of purchasing a fixer-upper is having to do as much work on your own. Decide if you have the skill to do the necessary renovations. If you can do most of the repairs by yourself, figure out what you can do yourself and hire someone to do the rest. If you're doing most of the labor, all you'll need are the parts and equipment for the renovations, and you won't have to waste money paying someone else. Okay, if you don't have the ability to do a large chunk of the workload yourself, consider staying away from a fixer-upper home. Hiring someone to do most of the work for you will likely more than the renovations are worth in value. Labor is not cheap. Okay, make sure you have the time and the motivation. Fixer-upper homes require a considerable amount of time. If you think you're too busy to manage home renovations, consider going to a move-in ready home instead. Especially if you delay, pressing repairs, you could risk losing money and value in the home. Along with a time sacrifice, fixer-uppers require motivation to deal with such a huge project. Ensure you have the motivation and the determination to finish renovations before committing to a fixer-upper home. You do not want to take the plunge and buy the home just to get burned out halfway through and regret your decision. Okay, so check your financing options. Okay, buying a fixer-upper home is more financially complicated than your typical finished home. You will need money for the for the routine down payment and closing costs. Okay, but you want to check your finances. Okay, you'll also need money for the home repairs and the possible complications, like I said before, in the renovation process. If you do have enough money for renovations up front, these are borrowing options. There are borrowing options, I should say, such as 203K loans. That is meant for home repair, home improvement and reconstruction. A multitude of other loan options can ease the financial difficulty. Avoid being house poor. Okay, being house poor is when you spend the majority of your income on your home ownership. This can include your mortgage payment, property taxes, utilities, maintenance, maintenance costs, etc. If choosing a fixer-upper home is going to take the majority of your money, you're most likely better off to wait until you have additional income to handle the financial burden. Take into account your debt-to-income ratio, your DTI, when deciding if a fixer-upper home will make your house poor. Your DTI is all of your monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. Generally, 36% or lower DTI is ideal. Plan for complications. Like I said, I'm just keep saying it. With fixer-upper homes comes unpredictability. There are unexpected issues and costs that can leave you scrambling if you're not prepared. Although you can't predict the future, but you can still take precautions so that you are prepared as prepared as possible if something goes wrong. Whether that be additional expenses, time constraints, etc. You don't want to be left in a tough spot because you assumed everything would go as planned. Bottom line, fixer-upper homes can be a great home investment, but a great deal of responsibility and financial burden comes with it. Make sure that you have the right resources, and the time to manage such a project. And if you do use the tips that I mentioned before in the fixer-upper journey, okay, if not, maybe consider a move-in ready home. Like I said before, you could postpone the fixer-upper project until you are more prepared. For me, it's simple. I have a construction background of 30 plus years. So strapping on a tool belt and getting dirty is easy for me. But if that's not for you, and you need my help weighing the pros and cons, feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description box below, and I'm here to help. Remember, home is not a place, my friends. It's a feeling. So, if you haven't liked and subscribed, then don't forget to do so. If you like this content, let us know in the comment section below. Again, our information is also in the comment section below. Actually, in the description box below. Shoot us a comment. Let us know if you like this type of content, and if there's anything else that you want us to go over. Again, let us know in the comment section below. We'd be happy to cover it. So that's it for today, guys. If you're looking to get into the fixer-upper adventure, go for it. But again, don't forget to like, subscribe. Also hit that notification bell. You'll know when these videos are coming out. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, stay well, everyone. Till next time, peace out.